Hello, Fiona Whitten from Oakville Crafts here, and welcome to my first virtual Card A Cuppa of 2024. So it's the 17th of January. Yes, this is the first one. We took a break over Christmas, and seeing as I only do the virtual Card A Cuppas on the first and third Wednesdays of the month, and the first Wednesday was very early this month, so I'm here now. This morning went to the Grange Chocolate Cafe and held the in-person event. Sorry, I'm just checking that my I'm just turning the sound off as well. Right, okay, so it looks like everything's a bit wonky. Don't know if that's fixed it, whether that is yeah, I can't really tell from this. This is half the problem. Okay, I think that's probably about as close as I'm going to get it to being straight. It's level, but it's not necessarily straight, but hey, never mind. Anyway, so first virtual Card A Cuppa, first Card A Cuppa of the year this morning. So this is the kit that we have for January. It features the Be Mine collection, which you'll find in the new spring or January to April mini catalogue. You will find it pretty close to the front, I want to say. In fact, on page 9. So this is the collection. So we've used the paper this morning, and I also took the stamp set, another stamp set with some different sentiments, and ribbon and a few other bits and pieces. So I'm sure you want to see what it is. So the kit, as I said, as always, an envelope. Then we have a sweet sorbet base card. So this is A4 cut in half, the other half being there, so it's cut in half on the long side and then scored on the long side to make the base card. There are two pieces of basic white, one for the front and one for the inside. Two pieces of the Be Mine paper. So they're double-sided paper. So one's got some buzzy bees on and little flowers on the side, on the other side, and then the other one has some jars of honey and some sort of waves and swirls designed to sort of look like the flight of the bumblebee. There's also a strip of the paper. There was a bumblebee from the paper, which for people to cut out, have to fuzzy cut around it. Now, people didn't necessarily get the same bee, and rather than me sitting here actually cutting that out, I've already done one, so that saves a little bit of time. There are two strips of basic white, and I'll show you what I did with them in a minute. There's a scalloped oval piece of basic white, which was punched out using the double oval punch, and then there's a little bit of the what they call it, sweet sorbet bordered ribbon. So there's a little bit of white running down the edges of that. So that was what the kit had in it, and I'm guessing you probably want to see what the cards were that I took with me. So this was the first one. And I don't know, you probably can't see from there, but this little bee here, he's kind of on a pop-up, but it's sort of sprung. And we actually made that this morning using those two strips of white. So I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So the first card is as always, my let's throw everything at it card. So the two pieces of paper, double-sided paper, were glued to one of the basic white pieces. Wrapped the ribbon around it going across the middle to hide the join. secured that with some tear and tape at the back, and then glued the whole thing to the card front. I used one of the sentiments out of the Be My Valentine stamp set. So I used this one here, which says Be Mine. So a few of these would fit actually on here. And then I don't know if you can notice, but on my little scallop, I actually used a Sweet Sorbet Stampin' Right marker and put little dots in all of the little scallopy bits. And then we made the wobble bit for the bee, fussy cut it out, and then added that to the card. And then the inside of mine has simply got a strip of paper on the inside, and then I stamped some hearts on the envelope. So that is Sweet Sorbet straight off, and then straight away I re-stamped it on the front there and on the back. I can't decide at the moment whether or not I'm going to send that to my husband for Valentine's Day, but hey, don't tell him. The second card that I made was this one, which is very simple. So I actually had a bee that was sort of face on. So this time around I simply glued one of the pieces of paper to the basic white and then to the card front, and then the oval, rather than putting the sentiment on, I used the beehive stamped image and stamped that in petal pink all over, and simply then added my bee. So he's not actually on a wobble. He's just simply got dimensionals under him straight to that scallop oval, excuse me. And then there's dimensionals directly under the oval there. And again, this time I used that side of the paper, this side of the paper. And then I stamped some more beehives on the envelope. So that was the second card. So those are both portrait cards that I've shared with you. And then there was one that I made as a landscape card, which means that because we're all using the same card bases, it does mean that the fold is actually at the top, but I'm not going to fret it. It's not normally how I prefer to do it, but you know, it needs must when you're doing the same kit for everybody. You never know whether they want to do landscape or portrait. So I mean, on these this one you couldn't actually turn it around and make it a landscape, simply because the bees would be sort of the wrong way. So it's kind of dictated by the paper. So on this one I actually used the other side of the papers. So instead of using that one and that one, I simply changed them over and used the other side. So this piece here, with the little daisy flowers on, is glued directly onto the piece of basic white. This rectangle of the honey jars, I tied a knot in the ribbon and then simply wrapped it around the side, fixed it underneath with some tear tape, and then added this paper directly to the card front using some dimensionals. Use the happy birthday sentiment because although this is bees and it's called Be Mine, there's no reason why you can't use this for anything else. So I actually used excuse me, the Sentimental Park stamp set because it had a rather neat happy birthday sentiment that fitted on really nicely. So I used that to create the birthday card. Added that again with some more dimensionals, and then added my fussy cut bee. So he's glued partly onto the scallop oval, and then there's a dimensional here under the rest of his body. Used a little bit of Wink of Stella on the heart. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a little bit of a sheen to it. Excuse me, I need a sip of water. Well, that didn't help. Oh well. Anyway, so that was my third card. And this time I just used a strip of the paper again. And on the envelope I stamped a flower. So this flower also comes from the Be My Valentine stamp set. And I used that and stamped it in, I want to say, lemon lime twist. So it's a very bright green, because this card needs it to be nice and bright. And then the flower in the sweet sorbet. So that was the little flower. So those were the 3 cards that I made and took with me this morning. So now we're going to have some fun making a 4th card. And I said I would share how to make that sort of wobble element. And it's actually really straightforward. So I have 2 strips of card. This is basic white. They are 1 centimetre wide and 10 centimetres long. Now you could use a shorter piece. It really depends on how much you want your little element, whatever it is. Obviously beads here, you can use it for flowers, you can use it for all sorts of things. How much you want it to stick out. So when it folds down, it's still quite thick, so it would have to go as a large letter. Or if you're giving it by hand, then it doesn't really matter. So right. So we'll start with our 2 strips of basic white. And what you're going to do is you're simply going to glue them together. So the first bit to glue them together, you just need a little spot of glue. And you've got 1 vertical. So you're going to put the spot of glue at the very top of the vertical. And you're simply then going to match up the horizontal piece so that it is horizontal. So you want to make sure that the sides match up and the top matches up. And just hold that for a minute or 2, just so that it actually does stick together. You don't need a lot of glue. You can use tear tape. I guess you could use glue dots as well. But there's only the very start and the very end that you actually need to glue, so it's not so bad. And the nice thing about the glue is that you've got a bit of wiggle room, so if it's not quite straight, you've got plenty of time to ensure that it is straight. So once you're happy with that and it's sort of dry, you're simply going to take it in turns to use these 2 and fold them over each other. So currently this horizontal is over the vertical, so I'm going to take the vertical over and up, pinch that down, and then you're going to bring the horizontal over and across. Excuse me. And then you're going to repeat. So that was the first 2. That's the 3rd, 4th. So I'm just repeating, taking the vertical or the horizontal over. And you want them to be quite tight. As you can see, it's now starting to make the little wobbly bit. I mean, it's not wobble as in, you know, it will googly eye type wobble. But it makes a good, quick try and get it all to stack up on top of each other rather than be going off at a tangent. And then when you're happy with what you've got, you're simply going to glue the last two bits together again. I think I might do one more bit like that. So I'm going to put some glue here. I could keep going. I don't think I really need to. Fold that over. Press it together. Make sure it sticks. So there's my sort of bouncy wobble. You see it will come out. It won't necessarily wobble from side to side. But it's enough that if you sort of boing the whatever it is you've got attached, it will move. And then you just want to cut off the excess. So it's like that. So that's where I started and that's where I finished. So the next thing you're going to do, because you want to let it dry, is you're going to fix this to the bumblebee or flower or whatever it is. So I'm just going to put another top blob of glue on the top. I'm going to turn this bee upside down. It's just going to be easier to see. There's wings there, so I'm just going to put it in on the body, push down, and leave it to dry for a minute or two. Try and get it central, but hey, like so. So I'm going to leave him to dry. Just push it to one side. And then next I need to decide what it is I'm going to do. And I think I'm actually going to do a version of this card. So I'm going to, let's just take that base card away at the moment. But I'm going to swap it around a bit. So I think I might have it so that that's underneath and then that's on top. And you'll see why in a minute. Because I actually want to cut out one of these jars. And I think, let's just double check where this is going. So it's my placement, so I know what I can use to cut out and what I shouldn't. So this little jar will be fine. I think that one might be a little bit too big to put onto the oval, but that one will be good. You could even take both out. So I'm just effectively going to gut this piece, because you're not going to see the fact that this is missing. You'll know that this bit is missing, but you won't be able to see it on the card. And your recipient won't know, unless you tell them, of course. So that's going to go there, and that one's going to go there. And as I said, you can't see that it's not there. So I'm just going to fussy cut around the jar. Quickly. Like that. Now, put that on here. So I just want to sort of, I'm going to bend this a bit, just so it kind of looks like a jar. Like that. Oh, I'm so sorry with all this coughing. And you can get your bone folder out, or you can just use your finger to sort of bend it like that. And then I'm going to add my bee. Now he's going to come that way, so that's where I wanted him to go. I don't know, should I actually cut out that other? I'm trying to decide whether not to cut out that larger one. What the heck? He's still not going to see it, I hope. I'll just have to be careful, very careful with the placement of my pattern paper to make sure that it is hidden. Right, let's just take that out. That's going to go there. That's going to go there. So yeah, we're good. We're good to go. Right. Okay, so let's glue this on before I change my mind and decide I'm going to cut even more out. And then it will be a problem. Just as I said, you're not going to see them. These two pieces, this piece, as such. Try and get that level, which is obviously not. What am I doing? I'd say I'd need new glasses, but they are new ones. And then that one's going to go here. Now the question is whether or not I am going to put this on with dimensionals, and I think I'm not going to. So I'm just going to glue this straight on. I could have put that ribbon on as well. Hey ho. We've got that. We've got him. We've got that one. I need to quickly do this one. So I hope you all had a good Christmas and New Year. Sounds odd saying that when it's the 17th of January, but hey. As I said, this is the first virtual Card A Cuppa of the year. So starting next week, Card A Cuppa and Stampin and Creating are going to change to 4:30 on a Wednesday afternoon. I'm heading to see my son, and there's an 8-hour time difference. And in the past, I've gotten up at 5 o'clock to do the virtual Card A Cuppa and stuff at 6:30 in the morning, but I think I've been a bit mad doing that. So I'm afraid I'm only going to move it straight back 2 hours, so that at least it's 8 o'clock in the morning where I'll be, which is not so bad. I was going to say I'm a bit of an insomniac, but I'm not really. I used to be. I think the thing about getting old is I'm not anymore. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just bending this slightly. I think I might have to put mini dimensional underneath. In fact, what I might do is I'll just put a strip in the middle down the centre, just to hold it in place so that it stays on that curve. Because it's not too much of a curve. And I'll put that one there. Just needs to have just a slight one, and then that one's going to go there, and again put a small piece. If you take it from the edge, it's much easier. You can then cut it as wide as you want. And let's face it, we all want to use all the edges up and everything as well as the normal pieces. So it's a good excuse. So that's going to be there, I think. And again, that's gonna be like that. And then I'm gonna put, so that's gonna go on with dimensionals, which is why I didn't put the paper up on dimensionals. So I'm going to have so much. I think I'm going to line this up with what would have been the honey pot paper, because it's sort of underneath there. And I'm going to put him on. Now I should have maybe beforehand. There's this really sweet stamp here that sort of does looks like a flight. I'm going to use that. Should have done it before I actually stamped, but hey, I'm not going to be too bothered by the fact that if it goes off onto the white, and then he's going to be there like that. And I'm going to stamp that in Memento. Just put that on a block. Like so. Now this being photopolymer, you need to have something slightly softer underneath where you're stamping. So let's go for it. I think I'm going to do it that way. Let's make sure that this goes on properly. Like so. Oh, got a little bit extra there. And then he's going to go on there. So again, you're going to need some glue. Just a bit. Oops. I might have put a bit too much on, but hey. And we're going to put him. Let's see. I want him level. Just hold it for a second. Kind of stuck, yeah. So I just need to turn it a bit more. So. Like so. So that's then going to go on my card front. Like so. And because I turned the paper over, it's got a bit of an edge on it. And I also need to put that corner down. I'm just going to use my bone folder to quickly flatten out those edges. Neaten it up a bit. There we go. So that's going to get glued onto the card front. Like that. Just try and make it so that it's level all the way around. Got an equal border. I seem to have gone skew whiff again. Let's see. And I changed that a little bit anyway. There we go. Well, it's got a bit of glue on there, so I just need to let that dry for a second, and then I will use the eraser. So let's finish off the inside. So yeah, I'm going to put the flowered bit on the bottom, I think. Like that. snip off the excess. Make sure that that is level. And then put that inside. So that's like that. Just that. And just quickly take off that excess there. Right. And now, I think I'm virtually finished. Didn't put the ribbon on. Hey, but never mind. So that's what I've got left. Everything else has been used. Let's put some, I could put a C, can I put a sentiment on? And could probably fit in the love you there. But I'm not sure what I'm going to. I might just put in, actually, you know what, I'm going to put the Happy Valentine's Day on the inside. I don't want you make my heart buzz. There we go. No, you'll always, that's not it. It's one of these. There we go. Happy Valentine's Day. So that can go on the inside of the card. And I think I'm going to put that in Sweet Sorbet. Like so. Put that in here. That's that. And then I'm going to finish off with some of these rather sweet adhesive backed hearts and flowers. So these are also part of the collection. So you see there's hearts and flowers, different size hearts, different size flowers. I think I'm going to use some red hearts. I think it's going to be easier just so to get these off. It's just as easy to simply pick them up. If you just bend the sheet away from you slightly, it makes it easier to pick up the hearts. Pick them up. I'm going to put 2 there. And I think, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a flower on the end there. So it looks like he's just coming from a flower. Like so. So, right, that is my card for today's virtual Card A Cuppa. There's actually quite a lot going on there. Let's see, we'll do a bit of a tidy up. And then I'll bring back the other cards that I already shared. So, that one, and that one were the 3 from this morning. And then this one is the one from this afternoon. So I've used the bee that came in the kit, fussy cut him, created my springy bit. So he does wobble if you boing him. Cut out some of the jars which are actually behind here, so that's all hidden. Put some dimensional just running down the spine, I guess, so that you can sort of curve the jars. Added them to the oval, and then added some of the enamel flowers and hearts to finish off. So I hope you've enjoyed that. As I said, as of next week, Stampin' and Creating and Virtual Card A Cuppa are going to be at 4:30 in the afternoon rather than 2:30. That's the only change. Virtual Card A Cuppa is still going to be the first and third Wednesdays, and all others Wednesdays are going to be Stampin' and Creating. It's celebration at the moment, so don't forget, if you spend £45, you can order something for free. Purchasing the bundle. So the bundle is actually the stamp set, and there's a coordinating punch that will cut out some of the images on the stamp set. But if you add in the paper and the embellishments, that will certainly take you to the £45 or more, which means you can then choose a free item. I have an order going in tonight. That's the night of the 17th, and my next order is going to be going in on the first Wednesday of February. So if you live local to me, then let me know if you'd like me to order it. Alternatively, you can go to my online shop, which you will find at oakvillcrafts.stampinup.net. So please leave a comment on this or any questions, and I promise I will get back to you. But I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.